Hey everybody, today we're going to be showing you how to explore the city. Sometimes you're in a city that's completely new to you. You've never been here before. You don't know what it's called. You couldn't find it on a map, but you're here, and rather than sitting in the same spot in the direct sun all day, you decide to explore, to see what this new unfamiliar place has to offer, to see if the people here are just as cruel and brutal as all the others you have met throughout your horrid life. You don't know where to go, but you have no destination in mind, so it doesn't really matter. You just start walking, and before long you come upon a large river. This is a sight you were not expecting to see in such a fully developed urban landscape, and you are pleased at the river's fresh serenity. You stand gazing at the river for some time, not thinking about anything in particular, until a man approaches you and tells you that you must leave. At first you were frightened, but you realize that he's not wearing the attire of any sort of official authority figure or guard. So you ask him in your kindest voice, why is it that he demands that you leave the bank of this beautiful river? He tells you that he's the caretaker of this section of the river, and he's received over 30 complaints in the last 2 hours about some ugly person who's been standing motionless at the edge of the river and has been offending people with her ungodly stink. The caretaker says that he just followed his nose until he found you, and that he has no doubt that you are the smelly culprit. You're shocked and embarrassed to your core, but you put on a stern face and tell the caretaker that you're not going anywhere. You're a new visitor to this town, and you have traveled a long way to get here, and you have just as much right as anybody to enjoy this river. Of course, the caretaker was prepared for your reply, and as you are speaking, he unfurls a lengthy parchment scroll which he claims is an edict, freshly signed by the Queen herself. As soon as you finish speaking, the caretaker clears his throat and proclaims,
"Any individual who is found to be stinking of fish, rotten eggs, spoiled milk, or other offensive odors in a public square may be subject to imprisonment, $10,000 fine, or forced washing."
You're taken aback by this new law. You ask him when it went into effect, and the river caretaker says that it was signed only a fortnight ago. You stand there, mouth agape, stupefied for a moment before asking if you'd be able to choose from the 3 applicable punishments if you refused to leave. This catches the caretaker off guard. He frantically reads further down the official scroll but can find no mention of how the punishments are chosen or doled out, so he says that he supposes that you could choose your punishment if you're not willing to leave, but that leaving would certainly be the preferable option in this scenario. A wry smile crosses your wretched face, and you state that you do not plan on leaving the spot where you stand, and that you're willing to accept your punishment. The caretaker's face turns dark and sour. You continue to explain that if you were to be punished for your unpleasant aroma, then you choose the forced washing punishment, and as you are already on the bank of such a great river, you ask that he only lend you a sliver of soap and toss you in. The caretaker is now beyond himself with anger. He grabs you by the back of your trousers and shirt collar, and in one swift motion tosses you body and soul into the river, where you land with a hearty splash. The water is cool and clear, and you open your eyes and see that you're surrounded by dozens of tiny fish. You're not alone in your punishment. You breach the surface and take a deep, refreshing breath. The water feels excellent. You swim a few strokes toward the center of the river before turning back to look at the caretaker, who's frantically washing his soiled hands in the river. He sniffs them and then vomits. You laugh quietly to yourself. You know that getting your stink off of him will be a difficult task, if it's possible at all. You look up at the pale blue sky, which is dotted with slow-moving clouds. It's beautiful. You float on your back and let the current take you where it pleases. To a new town, perhaps. Maybe out to sea. Maybe you'll end up back where you started. It's impossible to say.